I thought you were going to say your ex.
Hello and welcome to the Tuesday night adventure highway stream of Sleuths in Ysgard. My name is Blake Homar and I am the dungeon master for today's game. I would like to introduce our first player for the day, Sarah. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your character?
Yep. Hi, my name is Sarah Massa, and I play Carlotta Tealeaf, also known as Carl. She is a halfling gunslinger, and last we were aware of, she's been unconscious and sick on the back of a horse. So I'm looking forward to where today's gonna go.
Yeah, which has been a lot of character development. It's definitely been some growth there. um,
Yeah.
Next, if you look right next to her on the screen, we have Kyle. A little about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Kyle Lawson. My character is Brogan Naked Eye. He was very excited at the end of last session to go and fight the Frost Giants. That being said, we will see how that goes, as his first encounter with a giant went rather poorly.
Yeah, I think the most damage you took in that encounter was actually from was by proxy from Steve. Uh, with
I
lightning
actually think
strike.
Steve's the only one that saved me from the disgusting mouth to mouth of Master Splinter.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
It was a rough
Um,
session.
it's like the hug and the hit. It's a mix of both in that relationship. So Steve, Nick, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Sure. My name is Nick. I play former deli manager Abe Froman, who is a barbarian, now kind of going throughout all these different planes of existence as a space cowboy.
Very nice. Steve has found himself with a new purpose in life as he has a god in his head now,
Yeah.
which is gonna be cool. Brittany, a little bit about yourself and your character.
Everyone, I am Brittany Rekma, and I play the Bowsmith Artificer Zari. She never knows what's going on, but she's along for the ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Heck.
For sure.
I would dare to say you
Definitely.
keep us in line.
Yeah, on the side, like you're not on the sidelines per se. Like you're in it, but if there was a place that was like on the line of the sidelines, like you're about to step over the line, but you're not there, and you will participate, but there is a line, and you're right near it, definitely where you're standing, watching what's going on. So that's pretty cool. We found ourselves in just a slight recap what happened last week, so we can just dive deep in because there's a lot to going on in this story to move on into. Um, as we ended last week, our sleuths left Muspelheim in Muspelheim, as some called it, Moose Behind in the realm of Ysgard, where the fire giants lived, by tricking a fire giant into running off and going to a clandestine meeting in the night with Zari. But Zari was not going to be there. Not tempted by the offer to go hang out in front of her ex's house, they escaped in the night and left to go find Ysgard themselves to find a cure for Steve's unwanted pregnancy, um, and maybe find a way back to Waterdeep. In which they landed themselves smack dab in the middle of Ragnarok. Upon escaping the initial battle of Ragnarok between a large wolf Fenrir, Hel, the queen of the damned, the Jörgmundor, the giant serpent, by taking Odin's horse upon his death from Fenrir, they were able to escape with the eight-legged horse Slegnir, with directions from Odin to find the Ashen Tree. Upon leaving this battle, looking behind you all, finally getting out there with Carl on the back of this horse as Zari is trailing slightly behind Steve on the back of Slegnir, that as also Brogan on the back of Slegnir. Um, you reach this hilltop. As you look behind you, you see that all of the barbarians and the fighters and the vanguard that you once held brethren with, Brogan, are all now getting torn to shred by frost giants, the giant wolf, the army of the undead, uh, and now the fire giants have shown up as this giant sea serpent from the sky flies down and eats people. As you guys stand on this hillside, this is where we start today.
So you're on the back of the horse, Brogan?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm gonna turn around and be like, man, wait till I leave a TripAdvisor review on this place. Moose behind, 1 out of 10.
I'm- hey man, it could be worse. Like
I really,
you're
I mean,
you're
objectively.
objectively, yes, we made it here. We're trying to make you unspace pregnant. Like we've made great strides in helping you, Steve. Most of this quest is for you.
You're making this argument as like so many Norse Vikings are just being chewed up by a 100-foot wolf and a huge like demon thing behind us. Like it's honestly not that bad as you see people just being slaughtered in the background.
Hey, I'm talking about for us.
You're like,
Not dead yet.
Carl, you're just waking now, coming out of your poisonous stupor from some food you possibly ate prior. You're now just coming to on the back of Argyle the horse.
Good.
great.
And that food had nothing to do with the amazing chef.
Carl's like looking around and all of a sudden seeing all like these hundreds of thousands of people being like killed by these demon animals. It's just like, am I in hell?
I think kind of, yeah.
World.
I'm gonna say that it's my understanding that that woman right there, and I'll point at hell. I'll say that she is actually hell.
Okay. It just lies back down a little bit on the horse.
So is there an obvious direction for us to go with these horses, or
For
are we
sure.
supposed to
As
sit
you're
here and
looking
watch
ahead,
the
you see
massacre?
off in the distance, in the sky, as it's almost like an outline of white in this blue sky in the snow. As you're now walking in about 6 inches of snow, where the only snow moving through the air is snow that's being picked up on drift from the ground. You can see far in front of you, over a tundra of frozen snow, you see in the distance far the outline of a large ashen tree, a large ash, a world tree almost, as you see it sprouting up through all of the blue on the horizon, and you see its branches moving off, and every now and then you're seeing a branch just fall from the ash tree.
That can't be good.
And its distance, it's like miles and miles, almost like when you look over the horizon, you can't really tell how you can't gauge distance. Like if you're on the water, for instance, you can't gauge distance because of the horizon as you look deep.
Okay.
Because of the curve of the world. I mean, you can gauge distance, but there's the curve, so it's hard.
It's just kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna turn to these guys and ask if you guys ready to go in that direction. I guess it seems the most poignant thing.
I mean, all-out brawl here or falling tree. Options is not that great.
It's true.
They seem safer.
Yeah, we're
The
gonna have to
moment.
just figure it out.
All right, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna give Slipnir a little. I'm guessing like in its midsection. This seems like a very large horse.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like the limousine of horses. So I'll give him a little squeeze wherever my legs are, and me and Brogan will just start trotting off towards this tree.
And as you give him a little squeeze to go trot off, all of a sudden he starts trotting, and he gives a nice buck as you guys are on his back. Give me a athletics or acrobatics for the two of you on his back.
I'm gonna fight this horse right now if he's gonna embarrass me in front of everybody.
Yeah, for the two of you.
You said athletics or acrobatics?
Yeah, either one. Either one. This is how you hold on with your thighs and hands. And as you're both able to hold on with your thighs and hands, it's either an 18 for Brogan and a 14 for Steve, which is great. You needed to beat a 12. As he bucks and he says to you all, by the way, if you'd like me to move, you can just ask.
I'm going to lean over and say, you hadn't talked up till now. How are we supposed to know? I will take you to the glue factory if you do that again. Do you understand?
Your threats will get you nowhere. I am the
they
regal
haven't
horse.
In life, so I believe you.
I am Slegnir. I ask actually you dismount from my back and you bow to me.
Bow to you?
Have you ever stood in front of royalty?
Aren't you half Loki?
I'm gonna look over at Steve and just be like, don't you usually like make food out of animals like this? Like what are we doing right now? Like Like,
Can I search the recesses of my mind to see if Space Odin is or if Force Ghost Odin is still with me?
Yeah, I would say give a perception. And as
I
you're
would.
doing that, Zari and Carl, you see as you're on the back of Argyle, Argyle actually bows the front legs down and goes down to bow to Slegnir as he says, "Bow before me." You're not picking up on any Odin in your head right now. He may or may not be there. You're just not necessarily
All
picking
right,
up
so
on him.
I'm gonna reach out into the void of my head then, because
Okay.
I'm assuming that Steve doesn't have a lot of thoughts on a regular basis, and just say like, dude, where does your horse get the audacity? Like, wants me to bow to him.
As you voice out, some seconds go by, and it's actually probably a lot shorter for everyone else, but it's a lot longer in your head, of course, given
Yeah,
the
of course.
void.
The
And
void.
yeah, you
Okay.
hear all of a sudden echoing in your head, "Steve, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yes, I would like the chicken dish. I'll take the chicken. Steve, what's the problem?
Your horse is asking me to bow to him.
He is the eight-legged horse, king of all horse and man. I
He's a
suggest
king
you
of
bow to
man
him.
too.
To me, I did not. Well, I am Odin. You are Steve.
Yeah, I understand that you are Odin and I'm Steve, but I'm asking, your horse is the king of men and horses?
Well, hold on 1 second, Steve. No, I don't want any dairy with the chicken. Can I have something? Yes, that'll work. That'll work. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
Hi.
no, I'm here still. Yeah.
Great. I'm glad you've gone nowhere. Whew. Uh, I suggest he's somewhat whimsical and he can get moody and temperamental at times. I think it has to do with who his father is. Um, all more will be revealed. I suggest you just take one knee, thank Slegnir, and just move on with your day. It's a whole lot easier than having to hear about it for the rest of the day from Slegnir.
That sounds fair. All right, so
all right.
I'm gonna appease this ex-wife of a horse, and I'm gonna get down and kneel in front of him.
And as you
Technically,
kneel,
Argyle's horse.
well, you're on a horse that's already kneeling, and you haven't tried to command it. So I don't think Slegnir is not really. He just nods at Argyle, kind of in your direction, and then nods over at Steve and says, "That's better. Thank you, Steve.
Now, can I get back up there? Or
You may mount me."
I guess if Steve
that's
does that,
going to be an
I will-
ongoing joke for sure.
I guess
And
if Steve does that, I'll do it too, and I'll kneel. I'll hop off. I'm not just gonna sit on the horse while he's kneeling and like hang on this thing's ass and like wait to see what happens.
And as you kneel, he nods his head and says, You may rejoin your friend. Mount me, Kyle." I mean, mount me,
Does he
Brogan.
say
Who's Kyle?
Does he say me mount me that aggressively?
Well, he says it regally.
Does he use that tone
Yeah,
specifically?
is it like mount me, young man? Because if so, I have
Very
I
much.
have a little reservation.
He has the same regal affliction to his voice as Odin, in a sense, where it's everything's very strong. He knows what he means.
I'm gonna wink at him and be like, "Yep, dragon parts and all," and then hop on the horse.
And as you hop on, he looks over at Argyle and says, "Argyle, very good of you." And he says, "You shall be my aide as we ride. Now we ride in the direction of the ashen tree. We go now and make haste."
As we're riding along, I'm gonna say, great. So I just had to kneel to a horse, and he took my sidekick to be his sidekick. I don't like this guy.
Excuse me, Steve.
About.
Exactly. He asked your friend to assist him. Argyle is your friend, and then I'll hold up my hand and wink at you like you're still trying to get him to not kill himself.
I feel like he's got a purpose in life now.
He might kill himself because you ditched him. How dare you ditch Argyle? Ditched
Right?
him for a new horse, a new
Horse now.
Get him, Zari.
It's got 8 legs.
There's
It's
shiny
twice as good as a regular horse.
Argyle.
All we're hearing is that you're a horse slut,
You'll be my
Steve.
horse now.
And then you
Carl,
got and
horse
then
girl,
you
she'll
got
take Argyle.
and you know what? Argyle is going to be with Carla and I.
So I just see Steve and I sitting on the other horse, and then And then Carl and Zarya walk over to Argyle and they're like, "We love you. You're the best horse." And Argyle's like, "Oh my God, you ladies are so great. I hate those two guys." And he starts crying a little bit. And he's like, "They're the worst. Please, please, I'll take you. Hop on. I love both of you." And he's like pseudo crying.
I'm gonna roll real quick. As we're riding behind, you can tell that he is doing
Nope.
a terrible horse dance right now. He is bee's knees happy as he is dressaging his worst dressage ever, but he's still doing it.
Yeah. He was never
as-
trained, but he's still trying to do like
Carl's so happy.
Yeah.
90% of dancing is confidence. I love it.
Yeah, as Argyle is just bee's knees happy. Never been happier. Dancing like no one's watching. Of course, Carl's so excited about it as she's on a
So
dressage
happy.
horse. Yeah. Um, but he, as we found out in the last session, he knows of Slegnir and it was very excited to meet him. It's like meeting a celebrity in the horse world.
So it's Steve and I on super better than we are horse, and then Carl and Zari just being loved and lapped up by Argyle because he apparently hated the boys.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I'm
And then
okay
Best
with it.
trip.
Yeah.
and then of course there is a side pouch now on Argyle for AAA because we're not leaving man's best friend behind.
Of course not. Well, I mean, he's being taken care of by the girls' trip montage. Like you're saying, it's almost like a convertible down, but we're in a frozen tundra.
That's what I'm saying, and it's the horse, and then on the side it's like AAA's like, "Yo, I'm like the happiest one here, except for maybe Argyle right now because I'm a dog living his best life. Like I
Yep.
love all that."
It's like that scene from Mean Girls where so our girl's just sitting there and we come up on sorry, I meant AAA is just sitting there and we come up on Argyle and go, "Get in, loser. We're going to see the convention."
We're going to have fun in the Frost Giant realm, whatever.
Oh.
Perfect.
Love it.
So what do we see terrain wise as we're trotting along?
As you're walking
here?
across this frozen tundra, it's what you don't see actually that starts to come across in front of you. Give me a perception, you guys, of what you're picking up. And some of this will be clear as day or not clear as day as things progress. As we roll, we have Steve rolling a 19, which is crazy. Carlotta rolling an 18, Brogan rolling a 7, and Zart rolling a 20.
I can't see anything past Steve's back and the
Yeah.
insane amount of legs on the horse, and I swear one of them farted, but I'm afraid to say it's Slegnir.
Between the back hair and the sunshine glistening off the back hair and the sweat,
And the
like you really
helmet.
can't see much. What everyone else starts to see is about a quarter mile off in the distance. You're starting to see the ash tree get blurred in front of you. You're still heading in the same direction, of course. It's pretty easy to follow that path, but you're starting to see everything starting to get obscured ahead of you. And the last thing you see before the obscure completely starts is you start to see a mountain range that splits off into two directions. It kind of like picture like it's almost a wedge in the center that wedges out a large triangle over a couple of miles. And as you're getting closer and closer, you see that a snowstorm blizzard is moving in on your position.
Great.
And
Hey, Steve, you have a really weird mole.
Get
They
that
said,
one.
they said it's not a big deal. I had it checked out a couple years ago.
Okay, just letting you know it's kind of bulbous. I feel like it's looking at me.
Yeah, I
and
think it
don't
winked at me.
like it.
No,
Why does Steve not have a shirt on? Is that we established that he doesn't?
Well, it's probably
Look,
the back of your neck, like that spot on
Yeah.
the back of the neck where the hair, tufts of
Steve
hair popping out.
t-shirts every chance he gets, chaos magic or not. We
Yeah.
have discovered this. Steve loves the t-shirt. He's like, I'm not saying I'm dad bod proud, but like, look at me. Odin chose me for a reason.
As we see the two roads and the storm coming in, I'm gonna say, hey, Super King Horse guy, where do these two roads go?
Both roads lead around the mountain.
Yeah, is there one that's better than the other? Like you're gonna be the one hiking this, so.
I would say they are possibly equidistant.
I mean, that's a fancy vocabulary out of a horse, and I'm happy for you. So why don't you just choose one?
Choose one. Well, if you look, and he says, if you look at the ground and follow the tracks, you will see what you may find upon the end. And
I'll
he
look at
looks
the track.
down and nudges to the ground where you see that there are tracks splitting off, and there are two different kinds of tracks going
Okay.
each direction. You can roll a survival to track these tracks and maybe find out what these are.
Can I make a knowledge religion check to make a joke?
Sure. To make a joke.
My character wouldn't know this, but me as a human being, I know this. So I want to see if I would know it.
Yeah. You can definitely do it.
I look at I basically look at Slacknir and I'm like, I'm not Heimdall, my sight isn't all seeing. So if you could answer the question a little more A, B, or 1, 2, that would probably help me. I'm not a super smart guy. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
He looks on his back and he goes, "Well then, I guess we won't be sharing riddles our whole way over to the Ashen Tree, will we?"
Oh my
And
God, was that the plan? As I reach into my coat and I pull out my whiskey and start
yeah,
drinking, I'm
you
like,
start
oh
drinking.
no,
He's like, "Well,
that's
it's
gonna be a long ride."
well known in Ysgard that me and Odin trade riddles as we walk down long journeys. But as
We're more of a singing terrible songs crew here, so
I feel like he's a lot wiser than we are.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what karaoke you know. I've been practicing the "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal.
Ooh, I could be the antithesis of this for you, Steve. I don't know if you know the partner dance, but I could also lift you and spin you.
Perfect. So we did some pretty good survival
very
rolls.
good survival. And as you're looking at them, it's like a 22, an 18, a 15. As you're looking at the ground, you see in one direction it tracks off. There is some kind to your right. It looks like there is some kind of it would be like a there are tiny tracks of what look like tiny, maybe half a foot to a foot tall little reptilian tracks that are moving off to the right. You can't really tell what genus or species they are, but they definitely look reptilian. They look bipedal, possibly tripedal, but they're all of the same tracks. Or I mean, not tripedal, but bipedal or walking on all
Quadrupedal.
fours. But they definitely are all of the same tracks. They're very small tracks. They're tiny tracks, and they're reptilian. They are going right and left. You look and you see what would be very small beast tracks, like very tiny beast tracks, almost like lion tracks, as you go look to your left that are going off in that direction.
I look at the DM out of game. Lions are not small. I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like,
We're
lions aren't
we're
that
level
small.
4
Like,
characters,
baby
and you're like,
lions?
yeah, a bunch of tiny lions. That's like saying, oh yeah, small elephants. It's fine.
I'm
I'm
saying
gonna
there's
make
a
it rain
bunch of tiny
PMs.
lion tracks. I mean, I would slam my desk. It would come into a bunch of tiny lion tracks.
All right. So do we want to fight a exorbitant amount of house tracks or house cats, excuse me,
Yeah.
or a smaller amount of very large lizards? What
Yeah.
are we thinking? Fight 100 2-foot tall ducks or fight one 200-foot tall duck? What's our?
I'm gonna ask
what's our
Sleipnir if he
plan here?
recognizes either of these tracks. Like what would leave them?
He sniffs them and he says, "Hmm. They are of many possible beasts in this area. It looks like the young of these beasts. I would venture to say I don't travel out to this area often. So maybe a riddle would help pass the time while
No,
we decide which way to go."
I
no.
will I will immediately clamp Steve's not love handles, but just very nice, firm waist. And then I will lean into Steve's ear and say, well, if he's thinking it's the young of a bunch of lions, maybe the lizards are better because they're bigger and we saw them. Or maybe we're going to run into 1,000 different lions, be them small or large.
Yeah, maybe they're very friendly. We don't know.
I am making the face
If
I'm
they're
making right
babies,
now.
I will take one.
I didn't hear
All right.
either of you. What'd you say?
Oh, I said if there are any baby lions, I will be taking one.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just make this face
So
at
I'd say
you and say,
I'm
if
more
we have to
interested in
pick-
seeing baby lions.
If we have to
Honestly,
pick between cats and lizards, at least cats are kind of cuddly. I don't know.
All right, caps it is.
yeah, we're gonna go that way. And before Slegnir can ask if we want to do a riddle, I'm gonna like start doing the opening sounds to "Kiss from a Rose" with my mouth, like ba da ba da ba da ba ba.
Right before
Just
you
so
start
he
doing
can't get,
that, yeah.
just so he can't get a riddle in, and I'm
He
hoping
will
other people
start. He
will
will be
join
like,
me.
"So what do you call And then all of a sudden the music chimes in, so he can't.
Yeah, I get louder. Hold on, I'm gonna.
I join in with the performance role.
Oh, it's you guys are impressed.
Oh!
Steve has been practicing "Kiss from a Rose," obviously.
Kiss from a rose
both
on
have.
a grave, and we're just back and forth and it's beautiful. It's
Like
beautiful.
we're half a mile in, and like we get to the end chorus, and I'm like, baby, and like all kinds of snow comes down.
That's literally a 4-step waltz dance. So if at any point in time he stops, I get out and I'm like, who's ready? like I can do this. You take a deep back step. Oh my god, I'm ready.
Argyle will be dressaging again. Let me
Those are some solid rolls.
15 with a I think a 2 dex. So he's Carl, you're feeling it under as he is dancing hard. Horse
I will
dance
actually
strong.
hop off
I just
and
like doing
dance
that
with
dance
Argyle.
myself.
I will dance with Argyle as obviously Steve is doing his thing, and I will look up at Carl and Brittany and be like, "This is the move." Zari and Brittany.
Who's Brittany? No kidding.
Carl and Zari.
Zari and Carl.
As you're all starting to move around, you hear Slegnir kind of he's like, "Wow, I've never heard this song put so well or so differently. I need to reevaluate my thoughts on Seal." And but regardless, the singing and dancing does not get us any closer to our goals.
That's fair.
As we still continue, I'm going to whisper to Carl and go, his name is Slegnir. Doesn't that remind you of the reindeers of Santa Claus' sleigh? It has 8 legs. I think he pulled Santa Claus' sleigh. That's how that happened. Like a crazy conspiracy is going off about Santa Claus' sleigh.
Oh God.
I'm sorry right now about Slegnir.
Were you whispering?
I'm whispering this to Carla's ear because I'm behind her, just holding on.
Which is probably hilarious in itself, because Carl being a foot and a half shorter.
Wait, just a question. Slegnir has 8 legs, so 4 on each side?
Yeah, it's like 4 in the front, 4 in the back.
Yeah,
okay, so not 8 on each side, not 16 altogether.
No, it's 8 legs altogether.
Oh, okay.
If you see the token I just blew up, kind of a thing.
A very long centaur is closer to that than a spider.
Yeah, it's like on the Roll20 screen that I just posted up. You'll see there's a token I blew up. It's kind of like that look, where it's like the 2 legs in front, and then right behind them 2 legs, and in the back it has 4 legs, kind of.
Okay. Because I was doing reindeer math in my head because I was doing the Santa Claus thing. So I was like, you're 8 reindeer, so that's 16 legs. So I was like, but yeah, possibly.
Dancer.
Carl's just like, yeah, could be it. Santa Claus exists in this universe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Now.
Possible.
I mean, Seal does, so I feel like Santa Claus can.
Yeah, I mean, if Seal does.
Yeah, I mean, if frost giants exist, where do you think Santa hangs out? Perfect.
All right.
Well, they're doing
that.
Are
the tracks appearing to get any fresher as we're kind of making slow but steady progress up the trail here?
And which trail did you guys choose again? I'm sorry, I must have missed it.
Cat. We went with cats.
Cats. As you're starting to make your slow and steady progress, they are slightly fresher. You are seeing them slightly start to get filled in as this blizzard starts to get heavier and heavier and heavier, and you are moving slower and slower and slower.
Can I make a survival check to see if I know if our tracks will be covered? Because I know we're trying to also get away from Ragnarok.
Well, and a jilted lover that may be hunting us at this point.
Yeah. So
if they're
your
not
survival
covered, I cover them.
Yeah, your crit, you cover them as you're able to go along. So you're able to definitely cover them as you go along.
And that includes Slegnir's tracks too, because obviously his will be the easiest to
Yeah.
find. Hopefully.
Yeah, he would be. It would look like there's if you hadn't covered the tracks as you guys go, it would look like there's 3 horses riding essentially off, but you cover them so no one can see, which including covers the tracks of what you are tracking as you are moving. And as it is getting dark, you see that these tracks end up stopping um, about 60 or 70 feet from a cave entrance. And as you look around, it is like on the side of this mountain, there is a cave. And as the snow is blowing more and more, you notice that it gets dark and you are unable to kind of feel your direction out at this point.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna ask Slignir if he can see in the dark.
He's like, yes, I can see in the dark, but I cannot see obscured through all of this snow.
Thought you were a
Well,
king, but okay.
I mean,
I'll hop off.
we are in a blizzard and there is a cave there. I feel like the
Yeah,
choice is rather simple.
it's true.
And
Okay.
Gonna-
Keep in mind, we were following cats, so we might want to be prepared in case of a cat attack.
Always the smart ones are it. That is
Also,
why.
is anyone allergic? Because if you're allergic, you need to stay outside.
Not that I know of.
I'm checking, but I think I'm okay.
You
I
all
think we're
walk
good.
in to this cave. It's a pretty wide open cave mouth that goes deep into a cavernous area. You see the wide open cave mouth of about 80 feet wide, goes down to about 70 to 60 to 50 to 40 in this curvaceous dome-like structure area as you walk in. And it goes down into a tunnel that turns out to be only about 20 feet high by 20 feet wide. Do you stay near the open mouth, or do you follow the tunnel that is about 70 feet from the entrance?
Steve's not smart enough to stay at the mouth. He's just trudging forward.
Oh,
I
no.
attempt to sneak, as
I
that
do
is
too.
our
If
Give it-
Steve
you both
as,
give it-
that
yeah,
is
give
our
your stealth.
that is our party move.
Patented sneak. Okay. So we've got Zari sneak going on, and Brogan, we got your sneak going on. As you guys are starting to sneak down this area, what would be the order? We've got what? Brogan up front?
Steve's up front because he's not caring.
Steve,
In fact,
yeah,
if anything,
Steve-
you guys can hear like softly echoing off the chambers more seal like.
and I'm
practicing
and I'm
again.
pretty sure he farted at least once because it's been a good hour and he hasn't yet. So
Steve only has
Steve-
one mode of flatulation. That is sharp.
Steve, yeah, it is 100% nothing. So we're gonna go with Steve in front, probably Slagnir behind him as his leading Slagnir. Then we can figure out the rest.
Yeah, because you're stealthing, and Zari would be stealthing too, no matter how good or bad.
I would imagine Zari and I would be closer to the back by Argyle. I'll probably be with the girls in AAA at this point.
Okay.
Just because stealthing is usually not at full speed, so I would imagine I'm kind of hanging back with,
Chilling back.
with the other part
If
of the
you're
group.
hanging back, Zari's going to tell you about her conspiracy theory about Rainier being Santa Claus reindeer.
Oh, I already had something to drink, so I'm listening intently. I'm very excited. I'm like, this is some good stuff. How have you not got? You could write a book, Zari. And obviously I'm whispering that as my sneak is most prominent. But I'm like, Zari, write a book. This is so good.
As you are sneaking, you're finding through this tunnel. It's starting to get darker and darker as you go through. Do you guys have dark visions per se, or what would be?
I'm relying
Red-
on Slegnir here because he said he can see in the dark.
Sure.
Oh, I'm
I will
Dragonborn.
light a torch
Okay.
because I can't fucking see in the dark. I did
I know. It's
dark vision goggles tonight, so
darkness is the destruction of all stealth. In every D&D game, it's like I stealth, crit 20, awesome. Do you have dark vision? You can't see in front of you.
I move away from Zari as she lights a torch.
Okay. Do you have dark vision?
Yeah, I am a cool dragonborn, so I do okay.
Okay. And as you guys are starting to walk through this area, it's starting to be lit by Zari. You are just on the outsides of the light. You hear a yeep, yeep, as it sounds like baby cat sounds in this area as you are walking in to the area. And it sounds like it's echoing around, but you can't really see where they are on the ground. You also hear wings of what would be like a bat flying off in the distance, but with the way it's echoing, it could be somewhere around the area.
As soon as I hear the kitty noises, I'm gonna like squat down and I'm gonna go pss, 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 pss,
Awesome.
see if
Give
I
me
can get any of.
give me a nature check as you're doing that.
I will.
So while he's doing that, I realize Dragonborn don't
Can
have
Carl
dark
give Steve
vision.
advantage?
I just crit my nature check. I just would like to make it clear for anybody listening / watching that I am the Steve Irwin of this cave.
The Steve Froman Ermin. Steve Irwin
Yep.
Froman. It's parentheses. It's a hyphenated name. As Carl goes down to help you and put the hand on your shoulder, you all of a sudden, just outside the firelight from Zari, you start to hear what would be a bunch of bat wings kind of fly to the ground. You hear little paw footsteps, and you hear the yawns and cowls of little cat-like creatures that seem like about 6-7 inch tall lions that are now pawing their way up to you with what have on their backs look like bat-like wings and almost like a demonic face of a human. As they are now walking up to you, there's about 7 of them, the little babies that are now just walking up to you.
Based on the nature check, I'm going to say that I'm able to hide the disgust / horror on my face from them pretty well.
And these are baby Manticore.
Oh,
as
great.
with your nature check, you can tell.
Yeah.
No.
Don't worry, guys. I minored in Manticore at community college, so.
And
are they cuddly? Are they like kind of friendly? Because I will totally.
Yeah, they are just like as you put your hand out, they like nip at your finger, but it's not like a real bite. They're nipping kind of a thing. Like they look like they're in like teething stage, kind of an idea, like freshly month or 2 old baby Manticore.
Great. So parents are here somewhere. I'm starting to like scan around. I'm telling Slegnir to keep an eye out for a bigger version of this.
Obviously, as I can't really see in the dark now, as I'm realizing I am trying to slink out of Zari's light, but also be close enough to be useful.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to help with my stealth, but that's what I am aiming for in case anything gets weird.
Yeah, very cool. So you'll be just out of the light. Carl, you see these little babies, and I saw your face immediately on screen when I described it. What is going on?
Immediate change of cuteness to
you want one?
I don't know. I was picturing one of them like just has its head turned and Carl's just like, oh, so cute. And it turns, it just has the aged face of an old man.
With bat wings.
Like meow. And I'm just like like she wants to touch it, but she doesn't want to touch it.
And it's walking over to you now, the little one, as it's nudging at your boot. Bites on your shoelace and starts pulling on it.
She doesn't know if she should be feeling cute, like feeling like it's cute or being disgusted by it. Because again, it's like an 89-year-old aged face. Like it just growls and like maybe even like a tiny pair of glasses. So she's just like.
You see the one behind it tries to fly up in the air and then just lands back on the ground. It tries to fly again and just lands back down and then just keeps falling and stumbling and rolling.
Steve squeals with delight as he's watching the cute things do this.
Carl goes up to the one that tried to fly in and just picks it up and goes, I'll keep you. And just immediately just
starts petting it. Give me an animal handling as you're petting it. And as you give me an animal handling, Zari.
This is the rule we want, game. Give us
Oh my gosh.
Crit.
With your crit 23, this baby Manticore falls asleep in your arms, and it goes as a.
Please tell me it's snoring like an old man on a sofa.
Oh, 100%. It's sawing wood on the intake, and then the outtake is just a whimper of cuteness.
Yeah. It's got sleep apnea already at 3 months old.
Oh,
It's so long
100%.
since I've like had a pet, so I'm just like feeling very emotional right now, like at a game.
As you're
It's been
holding
so
it,
long since I've had a pet.
With my crit nature, do I know what these things' general disposition is? Like, are there such things
with
as
your crit, you
friendly
know that these
manticores?
these things' general disposition are large monstrosity, lawful evil.
Great. Okay. Cool. But
They,
lawful evil, not chaotic evil. There might be some negotiation room there.
yeah. As one of them runs over to AAA, it does a little prance over to AAA, and as it prances over, AAA's face is kind of hanging down, and it just nips at his nose.
Boy just goes.
Pulls back up,
Bring-
and it just keeps jumping up and trying to nip at its nose, and as it tries to fly up, it lands back on the ground, and it fly up and it falls back on the ground.
Triple A's going to do what my dogs do whenever that happens, and just turn its butt around and whack it in with its butt to get
It rolls to the
now.
side, falls over, and then comes running back, and then tries to bite at AAA's ankles.
Triple A will just sit down, hiding his tail, not looking at him.
And it's doing what any like baby would do around maybe a mother or a father animal, where it's just running around the body, just kind of climbing all over it and nipping at it, kind of an idea.
Hmm.
And
Oh yeah, it's Mount AAA. I've seen this. It's like when little kids wanna play with their uncle. They're like, "I'm gonna crawl all over you," and it's like, "Thanks, man. Your parents are upsetting me."
as love it, as this thing's nipping at you and going, Kyle, you all of a sudden you start to hear a breeze coming from further down the tunnel, like a small breeze. And it looks like, from what you can see, as the light is moving down the tunnel slightly, you can see about 10-15 feet from your position, this area actually opens up into a larger cavernous area. And this is where the babies had came out from.
So when you say feel a breeze, Brogan's not the smartest guy on the planet, but he does know the difference between natural wind, which is cool and refreshing, especially in a frost giant area, and a wing flap if it feels warm. Which does it feel like, Mr.
It feels
Dungeon
warmer than
Master?
the air as this breeze comes through the cavernous area.
I am going to foolishly stealth closer into the open area.
And as you foolishly stealth closer into the open area, though you're only able to see within 5 to 10 feet around you, well, you have dark vision, I think. So you can see up to, I guess, 60 feet. As you're
Well,
looking around,
true dragons have dark vision. I don't know if
yeah, I don't think
do.
you do. So I'm giving you about 10 feet around you.
Yep.
You don't see 10 feet around you, but what you do see is where at your feet, as you're looking down, you see there are tracks, and there are not tracks of little small lions. There are tracks of very, very large lions. If you were to give me a survival check as you're looking at these tracks.
Alrighty, let's see if I can survival it up today.
A 17.
Not bad.
You can tell that these lions, if they were to stand on their back legs, would probably be about 12 to 13 feet tall.
Great.
All right,
Giant bat lions.
I'm probably smart enough. I would hope to know that they're manticores, but if not, I know they're at least large-sized lions.
Yeah.
At the very bottom, I know they are very large lions. So I'm gonna still stealth to the front, and the first thing I'm going to do actually is take out some food and lay it on the stairs.
Very nice. So how far in front of you? Do you want to lay it like 5 feet, 10 feet? Like, what are you thinking in front of you?
Probably like 5 feet in front of me because I know they're large and they can probably reach me from farther than that. But I also can't see much farther than that. So I want to lay it out in front of me enough so I can see them, but not so far that I don't know what's happening.
Okay. All of a sudden, as you lay the food out, and what kind of food are you laying out?
Well, I have rations and stuff, so I'm probably going to pick up like dried meat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like stuff that lions would actually eat, not like nuts and berries, like dried meat. Because I'm aware that they're lions, at least with that role.
As you put it out and you put it on the ground and kind of take one step back, it's about 5 feet in front of you. You you feel the warm breath again breathe at you from outside of your vision in this cavernous area as you're about 25, 30 feet ahead of the party right now. As you feel the breath come out at you, as like a, you hear a guttural deep as the breath comes out. And all of a sudden, 5 feet in front of your face, standing on its hind legs, about 12 feet tall, you see the face of what would be a demonic man with the head and mane of a lion, the body of a large tiger, and wings on its back, with your dried beef jerky in its mouth, just now staring at you, looking over your body. And it's looking at you eye to eye. This next moment will decide what happens next. Brogan, what do you do?
It's pretty good, huh?
And it stares at you. It looks in the other room at its children, and it goes to attack at you. Roll into initiative.
What? I fed it. Everyone's playing with the kids. Like, oh,
I thought
Baby
we
sing,
were being
man.
treated.
There is baby sing, free baby
Say,
sing.
you know how much childcare costs in this economy?
I was
They
gonna
should be
say,
so
I thought I was being a regular bro here. Apparently not. Also, that thing crit initiative. I'm sad.
Hopefully, it got its crit out of the way. Yeah, make sure guys click your token before you roll
Oh,
in.
that's my bad.
So,
I got bad news for my initiative.
My token is in the top right. Do you want me to roll again, or do you want me to, or do you want to just add the 12?
if you can, re-click your token and then and roll into initiative, and then there we go. I'll change it to the
Yeah,
original.
it's not much
Like
better
worse than
anyway.
you.
I think it's the
That
same.
thing's
Well, it's only one off, so it actually doesn't matter.
yeah, that thing crit. It's gonna kill me, which is really upsetting because I fed it, and then it was like, oh, you fed me? I'm gonna murder you, and it's like, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, there is the idea that you're in its home and its children are now being manhandled. It also, when describing a manticore, its favorite. Let me just put this out there as one of the descriptions from the player. I think it's the player's handbook or the monster manual. Manticores love the taste of human flesh. That's why on a trip through the mountains, I always travel with human guards.
I'm a dragonborn.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
know, but
even
he
a
sees the other
human.
she sees the other room. This is Mama Manticore.
Fair
And
enough. It's like
looks
Mama
over it,
Bear.
and in common, in a guttural voice, you hear, "Unhand my children," as a large claw swipes at you and just misses. And what does it look like as this claw comes down and it just misses?
It comes down, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a claw swipe over my head, and I'm gonna duck, and I'm like, we're just passing through. Your kids were cute. As a free action.
Very nice. Love it. And you are now up, Brogan.
All right. Well, she punched at me, so I'm not gonna let it roll. I'm gonna throw fury of blows and Hunter's Mark as a free action. So here we go.
Love it. Hunter's Mark is your bonus. And then
Ugh, not good rolls though.
very nice. And
Maybe one
that's
hit.
crap. That's terrible. We'll give you the 9 that has the Hunter's Mark damage on it. So that's 9 damage comes out on Mama Manticore.
So basically, I go to throw a flurry of punches. I'm super confused at the first one by why she would attack me, so I ducked and I hit the ground. I then take a second wild swing and it's terrible, and then I turn back around and I throw a roundhouse kick and I hit her in the face.
Very nice. As she does not appreciate it whatsoever. You hear up front a commotion going on, Carl. And you hear unhand my children coming from the front in a guttural echo.
Okay, Carl's going to look at the manticore in her arms and be like, I'll be right back, Eugene, because you named it Eugene, and she's putting it down. And then she's gonna take out her gun and walk over and see what's going on. And sees that the mama.
Yeah, do you have any dark vision?
Do halflings have dark vision?
I don't think so.
Then no.
Yeah, so you would be walking towards the front, and all of this would be in the dark. You would get within 10 feet, so I'll give you the vision within 10 feet. So when you get to be within 10 feet of where they're at, you start to see the outline of a manticore on its hind legs, and you would see that both Brogan and this Manticore are now slugging it out. It's now taking a swipe at him, and he is swinging at it.
Okay. I don't want to kill the mom right in front of its children. Carl's gonna throw some shots out at the Manticore.
Fantastic. Wow,
That's what I'm
22.
talking
Nice
about.
hit for 7.
Yeah. And I'm going to what's it called? I'm gonna add a trick shot.
Okay. What trick shot you thinking?
And I'm thinking of doing the dazing shot. When it says, when you make a firearm attack against a creature, you can expend 1 grip point to attempt to dizzy your opponent. On the hit, the creature suffers normal damage and must make a constitution saving throw or suffer disadvantage on attacks until the end of their next turn.
Awesome. So it's got to make a constitution saving throw, and it's got to beat a 13, I think.
If you wanted to roll poorly, now's
so.
the time, Blake.
It makes a 15 as it rolls a con, and you lose your grit point. You will have to hit on the next turn to be able to regain another grit point.
Okay.
So, but as it expends, you see it goes wide, and it as it got hit, it looks at you, and it almost staggers back, but then it looks back and it smiles. As it's got a little bit of blood in its mouth from when it just got smacked in the mouth, and it's very excited to eat halfling. It's looking at you like a roast turkey now.
Okay.
From the back of the cavernous area, you immediately hear a roar coming in, and you see a male manticore now flying in. It takes all of its movement to fly up to where Brogan is, but it now lands also right in front of Brogan, which is now 10 feet from Carl. And then we've got Zari and Steve now about 20 feet behind them, behind Carl. As our order, and it takes all of its action and movement to fly to Brogan. As it lands in front and says, "Honey, what have they done? They've taken our children, and they're playing with our children, and they look like they taste really, really good. Oh, they look like they taste good."
Out there. Say anymore.
Steve, you are up.
Take her children.
It's so bad.
Steve is gonna mumble something about leaving these kids without any parents. And he's gonna pull out his battle axe. Did he see the the direction where the dad spoke from?
Yeah, you would hear it echoing through, and Slegnir would also have heard it per se, and seen him.
All right,
fly in.
I'm gonna hop on Slegnir and charge at this thing. I'm gonna use
Love
a bonus
it.
action.
And coming up, you would be riding right by Carl, and you would immediately see to your left, where Brogan would be standing in this opening. You would see right next to him, right in front of him, is the mother.
Okay. I'm going after Papa Bear. I think I'm gonna bonus action rage, and I'm gonna swing at Dad when we get to him here. I'm assuming Slegnir can make this trip.
He can do double a horse's movement, so he gets I think it's 100 feet.
He's a fast boy. For
yeah,
sure.
he is fast.
All right. So right here, 25 to hit.
Very nice.
And
don't forget to add your rage damage.
Very nice. As you are enraged.
Someone's gonna be parentless tonight.
And he looks over and he goes, "Oh my gosh, look at that meal! Oh!" And he's going through you hear him making noises, that are he's like, "Oh."
As a battle axe hits him, he's making those noises.
Even getting hit by it, he's got blood in his mouth now after getting hit by the battle axe, and it's running down his chin, and he's sounding gluttonous for and he has a level of excitement that shouldn't be. He's like, "Oh."
Sounds good. That's my turn.
Very nice. Zari, as you see this all happening in front of you.
Cool. I give AAA the torch, put it to hold it in his mouth, and like help me see the freaking things. And the moment I can see the manticores, the adult manticores, I'm casting a firebolt at one of them.
Very nice. And it just flies right by. The first one you would see would be the mother, and it just flies right by the mother. And as it goes wide, it fizzles on a stalagmite on the ground in the cave. Anything else you get up to, Zari?
Bonus action, I tell AAA to take the dodge action.
Okay.
Don't get hit, buddy.
And he's standing there, and he's got like 3 of the baby manticores just nipping at his nose, kind of a thing, while he's holding the torch out the side of it, and they're just jumping up and down, trying to nip at his nose. Yeah. Very nice. The mom manticore looks over at Steve on the back of the horse and goes, "Oh, look at that meal! Oh," and looks over at Brogan, and will now go in and claw at you. 20 to hit for 9 damage, Brogan.
Oh yeah, I take it right to the face.
And as it claws at you, its tail, all of a sudden, you see it kind of whip out from kind of between its legs, hidden in the back, where it looks like a spiked wrecking ball, and it throws the spikes in one direction, and one of the spikes flies at Steve on the back of the horse. 17 to hit?
No.
As it just flies right by him.
It absolutely hits him.
It absolutely hits? For 10 piercing, so it gets brought down to 5 because of your rage. So as one of the spikes on the back of this tail just flies out and smacks at you, sticking into you.
Yes, sir.
You notice this, Brogan.
All right. Well, for my action, I'm going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to spend a key point on key fueled attack, so I'm going to get an extra attack as this action, so I'll get 4. And then I'm going to flurry of blows. So I'm going to burn 2 key points on this round, bringing me down to 1. And I'm going to throw 4 hits of pain in the best way I can with unarmed strike.
Very nice.
We're going to go 1,
hits,
2,
hits,
3, 4.
All of them hit, including that crit. And that you're also holding concentration on your hunter's mark. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Let's start adding damage. As your 17 hits, your crit hits, your 24 hits, and your 15 hits.
6, so that's 7, 8, 12, 20, 29. 29 and 8 is 37, and then if the 15 hits, that's another 12 for 49.
For 49 damage. Tell me what this flurry looks like.
So I lean back after seeing it hit Steve, and I'm like, how dare you? And then I literally, I do a sweep on the legs, because everyone knows you sweep the leg, Johnny.
No
and
can
then
defend.
As the Manticore starts to fall, I throw 3 basically just over the top hammer punches on this Manticore right in the face.
It gets knocked prone and unconscious on the ground.
1988 Mike Tyson right there, baby.
It is not dead, but you brought it within 3 health, and you just did an insane amount of damage, and I'm calling it knocked prone and unconscious. You will have your choice of how to handle it.
I'm straight up Iron Mike. If she's unconscious, what I would like to do, assuming I have an action left, is I would like to just choke her out. I'm not trying to kill her. I would like to just guillotine and choke her out so she doesn't attack.
You can definitely do. Yeah, it'll make her incapacitated for at least another hour, kind of a thing.
And then I will spend my last key point to patient defense to take the dodge action against the guy in case he gets upset that I just beat up his lady.
Yeah, as he watches you beat up his wife. Yeah, let's see if he gets mad.
I feel like that's a fair response, because I feel like he's going to be upset.
Very nice. Carl,
I
you
mean,
are
for
up.
him, this is the equivalent of like the plucked chicken just like housing his wife while she's trying to cook it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, homie rolls up and she's like, "Oh yeah, some beef jerky would be great." And then I'm like, "I punched the crap out of you," and she's like, "And I'm done." And he's like, "What is happening with my life?"
Carl, you see all of this going on. Punches are being thrown, and he is just about to get down on one knee and start to choke this thing out. And you look across and see the Papa Manticore standing there.
Okay. Carl is going to take a shot at the dad Manticore. And that's it for right now. Yeah, she's gonna take a shot.
Very nice hit for 11 damage.
Ooh. And now Carl's gonna action surge
Love it.
to get another attack.
And you have you've
And
just gotten a
And
grip
gain
point
your
back.
grip point back. Yep.
oh, I do. Okay. And so I'm gonna season this one with the trick shot.
Well, you can
And
what's it called? You can call it once you've hit. You don't have to burn the trick.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna do my next attack.
A 14 hits.
Yay.
Very nice.
All right. Then I'm gonna use one of my grit points to do. I'm gonna try another dazing shot.
Love it. Let's see. They got a +3 to con, so it's a tough one, but he fails as he will now have disadvantage on his next attacks.
That's good.
What does it look like
AC's
as you hit?
bad.
It does that.
So the first shot hits him kind of in one of his front legs, and kind of like he buckles down a little, and then she gets him in his like opposite like back leg, and so he's kind of like down, and then all of a sudden he hits his head on a stalagmite and is just like kind of like dizzy. It's like when in Mortal Kombat, right before you do the KO, when they're like this.
That's what he's doing
Finish
right
him.
now. He's just waving back and forth in
Like he's
circles.
sitting, but he's doing this.
Love
Nice.
it.
Excellent turn.
He will wildly swing at Steve, actually, with a disadvantage bite and a different disadvantage claw coming at you. A 16 and a 6.
The 6 misses, the 16 hits.
For 6 piercing, which gets brought down to 3 with his bite, and he just grazes you with one of his teeth as his claw completely misses, almost resting on Slegnir as he lands in, just barely missing you. And you can see in his eyes, he's starting to get slightly scared.
All
Steve,
right.
you're up.
So before I'm lifting my axe up, and I'm gonna ask him if he yields.
As you lift your axe up, he says, "I can make a deal. I can make a deal." He's like, "Look, I can just leave right now. You tell her you killed me. Never happened. No harm, no
Bro,
foul."
are you giving the full I went out for cigarettes and didn't come back?
Family.
Is that what we're doing right now?
So as he's
the
doing
babies.
as he's doing this, and I'm like literally like choking his wife, I'm gonna look over at Steve and be like, look, they will have a parent. It will not be the end of the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm swinging. I'm swinging.
It will be okay one way or the other. And I'm just like still choking the wife. So I'm just telling Steve, you do whatever your heart feels right.
Steve doesn't support Dad's going out for the cigarettes and never coming home movement. So he's gonna swing with his great axe with his regular action.
Love it.
Oh,
The
that wasn't
11
good.
misses. I wish that was
It
a hit.
does.
I wish that was a hit.
But I can according to Frenzy, I can use my bonus action as another attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that, obviously. That one hits.
That's a beautiful hit for 15, 16, 17 with your rage, minus 17. And you can see he is not in the greatest of shape right now.
Wait, is Carl on the other side? Like, would I have had advantage on that? Or I wouldn't have mattered.
No, Carl's about 10 feet away,
He's ranged,
on
so
the other
no.
side of Brogan. Like you're now on one side. I guess you would have had advantage on it because you're on the other side of Brogan. So
Yeah, but it doesn't. I would have only been a 9.
yeah, it would have only
regardless.
been a 9 or an 11.
No, it wouldn't
with
have
you.
mattered in that scenario,
Yeah.
but yes, you would have.
Yeah. So
And that's my turn.
yeah, and then next to like behind Broganish, kind of behind 10 feet away is Carl, and then we have Zari kind of next to Carl in that respect.
Okay.
Very nice turn as this thing's health is going down. And he looks over at Zari. He's like, "We don't need to tell anyone." He's like, "Shit, she's not the nicest person."
He's
no,
being a bad dad.
dads who run away from their family aren't good people, and I'll cast Fireball at him.
Go
And
Zari,
as
go!
you do, that does 5 fire damage. And he is almost dead. You see he is very close to his last leg as he is not doing well, has about 12 HP if we were going to quantify it, and is still spinning slightly as he's standing
This
there.
action, I will command AAA to attack while still holding the torch, so I'm going to be like, bounce, AAA.
10, what's his modifier?
Plus, I'm relooking.
Is it your intelligence plus proficiency, I think?
Yes, it's my spell attack modifier, so plus 5, so 15.
That hits.
All right, 1d8 plus 2.
Roll high,
Plus-
big guy.
1.
1d8
So
plus
3?
2, you say?
That's my proficiency bonus, so yeah, 2.
Minus
so 3.
3 damage as this thing is at 9 health now as it is swaying back and forth, doing the Mike Tyson's Punch Out Mortal Kombat sway.
He's not ready. I'm Iron Mike in this.
As you see that the mother is still down and out for the count at the moment. Brogan, you can stand up after the choke out.
I do. And with my 40-foot movement, because of my increased movement as a monk, I'm going to try to base the dad, because I also believe what Zari says, and that's a whole load of crap. And dad shouldn't just run away.
So, and he is right next. He's essentially right in front of you. Like, you've got advantage on these attacks against him if you're going to attack.
Oh, I know. It's just, I'm just saying, like, that is Brogan's thought process. He's like, dad shouldn't be like that. So he's gonna,
just putting it out there.
The mom.
Yeah, exactly. So he's
I
gonna
love the
take
visceral
advantage.
response everyone's had to it. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like,
well,
You
look,
should leave a note for the mom and just be like, "Your husband was a dick. We made the right choice."
Some of us
leave you
in real life had to fight that fight, exactly. So we get it. So I'm gonna, as a level 4 character, I get 2 attacks. I'm gonna make my 2 attacks with advantage on said turd burglar. Attack 1 and attack 2. At least attack 2 hits.
Attack 2 hits. 4, 5, 6, 7 for 7 damage.
Well, she dealt 5, and you said he was at 12, so I'm hoping that drops him.
He was at 9.
Oh.
Yeah, he was at 9. He has 2 HP left as he is doing the spins right now. Doesn't know where he's at. Completely hurting very badly. Looks over at you all, and he's like, "You don't. I mean, come on, guys. You know how female manticores are. I mean, come on." And Carl, you are up.
Oh my
Carl
God.
is disgusted that this father is doing this.
Blast his brains out, Carl.
Like,
get him.
This is not how a parent acts. Like, she's offended. And she's just gonna go up to the male manticore and just pull out. She's gonna have her gun, put it right to its head, and be like, "You're a terrible father and a terrible parent."
Okay.
And take the shot.
And Your 17 hits. I'm gonna call it the crit. What does it look like as you pull the trigger? Just for dramatic effect, we'll call it the crit as you crit.
She's gonna put the gun up like this and just pull the safety off and just be like, we're making the right choice here. And then
And as we see the dramatic sequence of going to pull the trigger, you see the hammer starts to fall down. It goes into a slow motion as the hammer hits the back of the firing pin as the bullet flies out right through this Manticore's head as he falls right to the ground and
Am I
hits.
allowed to body myself in front of the young child that
That are
everyone has
all
been
there.
so
Yeah,
excited
you could
about
try.
to
Yeah,
cuddle and then not do that? Am I allowed to kind of like hold my like wings out and do my not my wings, but like my arms out and do my thing with my giant pimp coat and just not let him see his dad
yeah,
get
for
blown
sure,
away?
for sure. As the
Yeah,
body
I'm just
falls to the ground, you put your arms
your
out with the
eyes
coat.
away.
And we are now out of initiative as this mama manticore is laying on the ground unconscious. And you've got 6 little manticores at your feet, and you see 8 more coming out of the cavern.
Oh my
so
god.
the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some water, splash it on the mama manticore's face.
And you hear her start to come to as you kind of splash it on there, and she shakes and she's like, "Who
And I'm
are
gonna
you? Why are you
and, I,
in my home stealing my children?"
and I'm gonna look right at her and be like, we're not taking any kids. Your
Oh.
husband tried to run. That's why he's gone. We were 100% just trying to pass through. I promise. And I actually mean that as a character because that's all we were trying to do. We were following the path. There's no me as a person,
Storm
me as this.
outside.
That's how it is. And I just let her know. I'm like, look, the guy tried to bounce, and that was a real shitty thing of him. So we took him out. And if you know that bums you out, I understand. But we left you with all of your kids, minus one, who fell off the edge trying to fly and couldn't fly, and everything else is just as it was. I
Give a
promise you.
persuasion.
Persuasion. All right.
Like how righteous we were about breaking up a family unit. Now we're literally kidnapping a kid.
Well, I mean, she's like halfway to pass down. I want to ask for advantage, but I mean, like, if I don't
Well,
do it, I
okay.
don't
I
get it.
will give you advantage if someone else chimes in and aids him in his persuasion at this moment. I will call the
Carl, do
advantage.
it.
What would you
Because I
chime in
mean,
and
like,
start saying, Carl?
because I mean, like, she barely had enough oxygen to like speak. So like, I would hope for a little
Yeah.
help because I did choke her out.
Carl will go over to the mom and kind of lean down and be like, he said he would leave and that you were terrible and he's not a good parent. And like she's really like going at it because she's just like really offended about this guy. She's just like, that's not how a dad should act. He wanted to leave you and said that you're terrible.
And you see her look, a little bit of tears in her eyes as she looks over at the body and looks over at all of you. You see her eyes get angry and then start to sink quietly. With your crit persuasion from Brogan, with the aid of Carl, looks over.
And I look at her and I'm like, I was 100% honest. I didn't want to hurt you. That's why you're still here. I didn't want to hurt any of your kids. I meant it when I said it the first time. I just wanted us to get past. And he was not having it. And then as soon as he saw that we were capable, he wanted to leave. And that's not fair to you. You're a good person.
You don't deserve him.
And she looks at you all, tears in her eyes, and then they go away. She wipes them. She goes to sit up, gives a sigh, and says, "Yeah, he was a jerk off anyway. Come on in. Come in. Eat. I got food. Bring the kids. Come on, kids, get in. You all look like you're famished." And walks in towards the cavernous area. And the kids, you see all of the baby manticores grabbing at the dad's tail, dragging the body into the cavern. As she says, "Do any of
Dinner?
you want to start a fire?"
I'm in. I'll have some Manticore.
I'm like, yeah, sure, I got it. Let's get weird. Come on, Steve.
Fantastic.
Slagmere, let's go, buddy.
You hear Steve's stomach like audibly growl as
Come, sit around, take your shoes off if you want. If you don't worry about it.
Oh, so you're not creepy shoe
She
people. We
sounds
like
like
that.
Linda from Bob's Burgers.
Kind of,
Come
yeah.
on in, come on in.
So
What you think?
as we settle down to eat, I am going to do the basics of starting a fire, and then throw a little bit
Wait,
of
there's
acid
still a
on
torch
it.
burning. I don't know why you guys are starting a fire. Zari still has a torch because AAA has the torch.
Well, no, that's what I meant.
Is it
I
in
meant
his
I
mouth?
meant I meant AAA lights a
Let's see.
fire, and then I throw a little bit of acid on it for heat, and we get this going. You know, I mean, this is a large animal. This is like a
Steve used to be a
15-foot tall
cook.
animal.
Can I like make a roll here with like advantage based on my personal? I also have cooking utensils.
You have cooking utensils, so you can roll your cooking utensils. And it would be, what modifier do you want to use for the cooking utensils?
What would it be?
I would think it's either intelligence, which would be book learning, wisdom, which would be like street smarts or knowledge of the world around you. Um, I want to say sleight of hand or animal handling, but survival is usually, if someone's going to be carving an animal, generally it's a survival check. But do you want to do a survival check with advantage, maybe? Or survival is wisdom, so you can use your tools with wisdom as your modifier.
Okay, well, so those are all zeros. If it's not strength or constitution, it's not good.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just I'm going to do intelligence with advantage if that's okay.
Cool, go for it. Yeah, with advantage. As an old deli
Oh,
manager.
it's still not great, but
it's an 11. There's a lot of meat left over. Like you were a deli manager, but man, like some people fail up. Like it's not.
Clearly, I got the job because my brother owned the joint.
Yeah, it's like some people fail up. Like you may not have been the best at it, but you were there the longest. You know, that kind of a feeling.
Well, if we're doing that, I'm gonna use my brewer supplies and try to hand out drinks too. Like, let's have a good
Very
time.
nice. As she starts to in her
as
pause,
we eat their dad. Like, let's not lose
she is cooking
sight
up the
of-
dad and breaking up the meat and feeding it to the kids and setting you guys up plates of Manticore that have been not the best carved.
Steve's gonna request a wing. He'd like a wing, please.
As you take a wing, Carl and Zari.
It's
what
like
are
a
you guys getting up
giant
to?
wing.
Ari's just going to look at the Manticore bit, remember the chicken and the human, and it's just like, I think I'm going to be vegetarian now. This is too much.
You hear, there's no meat on your bones. You need meat on your bones. You can't be a vegetarian around here. There's no vegetables.
I have my tree nuts. We're good. And eat my rations.
Tree nuts, that's not a meal. Who does that? And looks over at Steve and says, who does that?
I don't know.
And Carl, what are you up to?
Carl finished eating, and I'm just picturing her lying on her back like this, and all the Manticore babies are just crawling around her and playing on her, and she's just like, yeah.
You are in
It's very content with where she is right now. Just like, this is, yeah.
For sure. You're in a pile of kitties. Like, it's a kitty pile. They have just kitten pile.
I mean, all the kitties have human faces, so it's not great, but it's close.
But picture like the faces of a baby, but with like razor sharp teeth. Like they're really like glowing eyes, razor sharp teeth, as they are like crawling all over you, like. Meh, 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 meh.
I'm gonna ask Mom where this road, the road that we're on, where it leads to.
I would reach mugs in between everybody, including the kitties, and just be like, you know what? Hey guys, here's a beer. This is good. Blah blah blah.
Very nice. As you were able to brew beer, and she is like drinking it. And she goes, "Oh, it's so strong. I just don't have the temperament."
I will tell her, you know what? If you really want some, I'll make some before I leave, and it'll be all right.
Well, I'll keep a little bit, just for a little bit. You know, everything is about moderation. It'll keep you fit.
Hey, you're rocking that single parent life now. You do whatever you got to do to take care of the little ones. You know.
Steve has the giant wing, and he's still eating with he's got like grease coming out. He looks over and says, "Moderation is for cowards." instead of eating.
Well, yes,
Royal
you are a
Dad.
big boy.
Oh Jesus! Yes, you are a big boy. I'm gonna look
This
over at
Manticore is the single moms in my area that my internet's always telling me about.
right. I'm gonna look over at Slagmere. I'm gonna look over at Slagmere and Argyle and be like, "Are either of you guys hungry? Because you've been hanging out with us and we're eating and drinking, and like, do either of you guys want to be taken care of or what?"
I don't need nourishment, as you hear Slegnir. He's like, I don't require nourishment. I shall enjoy myself doing riddles with Argyle. You like riddles,
Oh,
Argyle? Then yes, we shall do riddles in the
This
corner.
is going to be the
all
most
right.
lopsided
I
riddles
slap
match.
I slap Slagmere on the butt, and I'm like, "All right, you're good." I'm like, "Argyle, are you hungry at all?"
No, no, yes, I'm starved. I haven't eaten in days.
All right. Well, that's why I asked. And then I fix him a plate with beer and food, and I'm like, "Argyle, I know you can do this. Like, do you want me to feed it to you, or do you got it? Like, I'm looking out for you. Like, I know you don't like me, but trying to help."
I'll have to eat it for now. It's the only thing here, and I will drink your beer. Thank you, Brogan, but it pains me to say, meeting Slegnir, I have new hope and I have new goals in my life.
All right. Well, obviously, I'll feed you and drink you and take care of you, but this is a little different than you saying you wanted to kill yourself. So we're gonna go with your hanging out for a hot minute. Is that okay?
You know,
Yeah,
it's
my
fine,
food and beer
Brogan.
is pretty
Forget the
good.
horse you met, Brogan. Forget the horse of yesterday. This is the horse of tomorrow. I want
All
to
right.
live and I have a goal in life.
You know what I'm even gonna do? I'm gonna reduce my rations by another point and throw some more dried meat and goodies into Argyle's food
Hmm.
and just really let him just get after it, or apples or whatever he's into.
And he says,
Oh,
thank you, Brogan. You know, my future, it's looking bright now. It's been bright since I've met Slegnir. This is all looking up from here. Things can only get better.
I'm gonna
I'm asking the
I'm gonna
mom if
sneak in.
well,
I'm gonna sneak into him before Steve hears this, hopefully, and be like, "Hey, Steve really loves you. Can you you know, mean that, but not say it so loud? You're gonna really break his heart. He
Can
loves
you
you,
chill?
Argyle."
Chill.
All right,
Can you
all right.
chill your
I'll tone it down
enthusiasm,
for his
please?
fragile ego. But no, I have a new future in front of me.
That's all that matters. You could be the horse of horses, big guy, and I'll slap him on the butt in a friendly way, not like an aggressive way, and be like, I'm real happy that this turned around for you, big guy.
It
I
turned around
think,
big time. I'm about to do riddles with Slegnir. Who knew I could do riddles with Slegnir?
hey, who knew you
all
couldn't
of us
either,
will be
right?
shocked if it happens.
Who knew you couldn't either,
Practice
big
trying
big
his
guy? I'm
best,
proud of you.
You
but
hear
it's
an
not
you hear an
working.
echo coming out from the room, from the side of the cavern that they're in. As you're starting to walk away, you hear, "What happens when you mix an orc and a dwarf?" And as you walk away, you don't hear the answer because you don't probably want to hear the answer.
I think it's a
Uh,
Yeah,
dork.
no, I'm good.
The
yeah.
That
dork.
sounds like that sounds like ugly, hairy, and
Oh,
short to an
one.
excessive degree.
Now I'm curious.
The
So
dork.
I've got two questions. First, I'm going to ask the mom where this road leads that we've been on.
The well, big boy. First, if you need to eat a little more here. He was believe me, don't worry. I mean, he was fit. If don't get me wrong, as she holds up one of his legs and hands it to you, and says, "Don't get me wrong. He was definitely fit, and woof, he knew how to love a lady. But you know, he was at the time when I got pregnant and knocked up. He wasn't Mr. Right. He was just Mr. Right now. And then he had to stay around for a bit, you know. But yeah, so he's dead. Oops, things happen. So you had a question about where this road leads. Well,
Yeah,
if you
I need
follow
to.
it all the way out, I mean, it'll lead you right back here, as this place is round. But if that would take you possibly years in walking or on horseback. But if you're gonna, are you aiming for anywhere, or are you trying to
The
go
big
anywhere?
that big tree on the horizon. That's what we're aiming.
Ah, the ashen tree. Yggdrasil, you want to go see the three lucky sisters over there, the Nord?
That's right, the 3 women at Vagisil. That's what we're looking for.
Oh,
Please and thank you. Give us the fates of bullshit. We would love that.
oh, well they give you the fates and all that. Then they'll give you a whole lot more. And she goes to whisper over to Brogan. I guess Zari would be standing nearby at that point. And goes to whisper and puts her hand over her mouth. Um, and says, "I hear they're slightly racist." And then takes her head back up and then says, "Yeah,
Great.
well, they're gonna tell you your future if you're interested."
This is to who?
Yeah, obviously it was to me, Zari, if she whispered to me.
And says, "Racist? I don't know what you're talking about. I never told you anything, nor if you would never tell them I said that. So, I
You never
never
heard
said
about
that
it
they were
from
slightly
me.
racist." And
Hey, same
I love
same
this Manticore
same
mom.
page. Same page, we're good.
yeah,
I will also I will also, when she whispers in to say that, I will ask her one other question. I'm like, so be honest. Are there any dragons in this area or what? 'Cause I would
yeah,
love.
there's dragons on the other side of the mountain. If you, from the direction you came, if you went the other way, you would have met the dragons.
My heart sinks aggressively. I'm like, you know what? That bums me out. That's all I wanted. But I'm glad that you're here to be a great mom to all these
Well, eat
little
up,
pups.
eat.
And I will then look at her and be like, you know what? Your husband was a real dingle dangle, but I'm glad that we could take good care of you and everything's still here. Makes me happy.
He was a real dingle dangle, and let me tell you, his dingle dangle. And she looks over at the kids and then looks at the fire at like what would be like the other leg area, and winks over at
Oh,
you,
I'm
Brogan.
sure. I'm sure it was impressive, sweetie. I'm sure it was impressive. You don't have to tell me about it.
Well,
I'm just saying I appreciate you for being such a good mom.
well, thank you. I mean, these are my babies. That's why we have a lot. This is a harsh environment out here. Sometimes the babies have to eat the other babies just to stay alive because no one comes around.
I have a question about that actually, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, ask away. We're here, and the only stupid question is the one not asked.
I believe you. So you have many babies. If you are worried about any of them not making it, could I have the run? Maybe someone to hang out with the team. I promise to take good care of him. Obviously, I beat the dad up because he was a bad parent, and obviously, I left you because I knew you were a good parent. I promised to do my best, take great care of them, and I fed you, and I would have fed anybody else. I'm sorry that this didn't go in a great direction, but I would love to help take care of one of your little ones.
Uh, Give her persuasion.
All right, let's see where it
Does
lands.
anyone help him while hearing this?
I'm absolutely
So
not
then he's a
helping.
bad parent. He was a bad parent.
As
We can
Carl's
have one,
yelling,
please.
you're covered
I
in like you have to
wasn't.
pull
I
one of
wasn't
them
a
out of
bad
your mouth
parent.
Okay.
He
as it's like
was.
stepping
That
paw
sounds
in.
I
like
can
help
literally
from
just face
Carl.
palming at
He's
the fact that
named
he's
all the
trying to get
children.
right now, and we're almost dying at half the time.
She's named
Um,
all the children now. She does not care if they had names to begin with, but she's like Mary Sue, Eugene, like all these
As you
names.
pull
I'm
the
just like,
paw of
he was a
Eugene
bad
out of
parent.
your mouth as it stepped in, crawling all over your face, you're like, he's a bad parent,
He's a
and
bad
you're giving Brogan aid in this. And Brogan, you get aided on this for a 17, and she says, "Yeah, take the runt." Points to Eugene over there, which is the small one. And says, "Take him. He was probably going to be eaten tomorrow anyway. I mean, we'd run out of this meat, and the babies would want to eat them, and so
all right. Well, if you really don't mind, Carl and I would love to take care of you, Gene. He seems like a sweetheart.
yeah, take him. His name's Eugene, I
Is it?
guess, huh? Well, you've already named him. He's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
boy."
yeah. Yeah, there's no hope now. We named him. So I look over at Carl and I'm like, and that's our baby. And I'm giving you the big uncle energy. So here we go.
Big uncle energy. I'm gonna
Well,
look over at Zari and make kind of like wide eyes, and then go back to eating.
Do we just have a kid together now? Is that what's happening?
I mean, I don't make the rules, but here we are.
But also, Carl's named all of them, so that would mean nothing. Like, she goes to the mom and be like, okay, so that's Mary Sue, and that's Jonathan. You know how Jonathan is. It just keeps going with like all 14
While she's
of them.
doing
There's
that, I'm gonna
14.
like coax Eugene to come to me with some more dried meat and be like, "Hey, little buddy."
Fantastic. And he's definitely going to come out for it as he starts to eat it. And you see, she says, "Well, I'm going to retire for the night. The babies seem like they're well taken care of." And you see half of them are like crawling all over AAA as he's laying on the ground. Like literally, he's in a coat of manticores as they are just crawling all over him with his face kind of down on the ground as a dog sleeps.
The funny part is when they
I
brush
just
him for
imagine his
attention,
face is just one of pure annoyance that my dog gives of
Yeah,
Like,
as
this.
little ones.
Why?
Yeah, like get these things. Oh, I hate this kind of a
he tries to
feeling.
move, but they're like attached to him at this point, and it actually looks like a coat.
Yeah,
So
he
he
goes to
just
get up
moves
and they're
and goes,
hanging. They're all hanging off his body in different spots.
yeah.
I'm
He's
gonna
like, I
I'm gonna
have to behave. I'm not allowed to behave. I have to behave.
I'm gonna ask Slegnir if he has to sleep, or if he has some super horse thing making it so he doesn't sleep.
I have slept a few times, Steve, but I have the choice. When I do sleep, I dream of all of our futures, a brighter one.
can I out of game Antler ask because I made a couple religion checks? Do I know if it's the Odin sleep?
If it's what?
If it's like the Odin sleep, where like he sleeps and when he does, it's for like multiple years and then he doesn't have to for a long time.
That kind of a thing, yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
ask him if he'd mind being the lookout for the night. That's why I was asking him.
Well, I will do a job, yes, but I already have a job, being ruler of all Horston.
No, I understand that. This is like a side job wherein you're useful on a day-to-day basis. I understand that you have like a hierarchy and goals. Me, I'm a deli manager, but out here I help cook and
You're right,
all
Steve.
that stuff.
I have no job.
Yeah.
I have had. How everyone does have a job. You're right. Riding your fat ass around today was not a job at all.
No,
I'll
it
stay
wasn't.
up
You're
all
a good
night
horse.
and watch for you.
Yes. Thank you.
I
I
will
appreciate it.
I will ask him if it's made a little bit easier by the beer I made because I did do a good job at making beer.
And as you mention the beer, you see Argyle right next to him put his hoof on his back and say, Slegnir. And he burps. You can tell he is visibly drunk. I don't care if your dad fucked a horse and that's how you got here. I think you're the best. And falls right to the ground right next to him.
Uh, uh,
Just
I'm
did like
gonna
a ton of bricks.
I'm gonna look at him and be like, that wasn't the opening I was hoping for. I know how to make beer, so if you would like some, it's pretty good. I
I'll
don't know if it's
share in
up
some
to.
beer and I will earn my keep for the night. But no, I resent the idea of staying on watch.
Triple will join you.
That's great. Resent away. I'm gonna say that as like I'm gonna on Argyle's passed out body, like I'm using his stomach as a pillow, and I'm gonna start to fall asleep.
Very nice.
I'm gonna open my coat and lay some food for a little Eugene here. Then ask Carl if she wants to come over, and then I'm gonna roll right the f out.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, of course. She's cuddling Eugene and just being like, "This is it. This is great."
Love it as you're
Perfect,
cuddling and
perfect.
you're able to go to sleep cuddling Eugene. Zari, what do you get up to?
Zari is going to take part of a watch because she feels bad for Slayer. Our group decided to pass out, take a small watch, and fall asleep because she.
Very nice. During your watch, you would see that in Steve's sleep, as he goes to bed for the evening, he lays down on Argyle's back, and you see he starts to slightly toss and turn sideways as he is having some level of vision. What this looks like in Steve's head is everything goes black as soon as you fall asleep. And for some reason, this dream starts as no, no, the chicken dish was a little dry this time. If it could be a little thicker or juicier, and I said no dairy. And all of a sudden, the blackness of your eyes closed and your sleep goes into a scene of walking through a palace. And as you're walking through what would be this Viking style palace, kind of almost in the sky, almost, but it just could be the height as you're of the tower you're in as you're looking through the windows. And as you're walking around this palace, looking through the windows, You're walking down a hallway, and you've got two guards that you're just looking left and right. And this is you seeing through someone's eyes, kind of a thing, as it's happening in front of you. And you're looking down, and you look down, and you see you're holding a spear in one hand. You've got garb on with a very strong breastplate. You're seeing through eye holes of a helmet, kind of a thing, as you're walking
Okay.
through, and you see one of the guards next to you says, "Sir, of course we're going to use our utmost discretion, but we had to let you know that this was going on." And
And do I get to respond in the dream?
what would be your response?
I'm going to say, and just so we're on the same page.
I will be complete. You have my discretion on this.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Well, sir, I'm going to have to show you. We had gotten word that this was going on, and we thought you should see it firsthand.
That's excellent. Please lead the way.
As you walk down this hallway, you stop at this door, and the guard goes, "Sir, you're not going to want to see this, but just remember, he is your brother. This is Loki, okay?
Yeah.
He is your brother.
Understood.
Remember, this is your brother." And as the door starts to open, it opens into a beautifully ornate room. And as you're looking at this ornate room, as the door opens, you see it opens into this large lobby area of like couches and sitting and a beautiful like adornment of table, where you see out into this beautiful Ysgard, almost like a city-like area that it overlooks a balcony. And as you start to look further left, you hear the neighing of a horse, and you see Loki mounting said horse.
Yeah.
And that is where we end today.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh my
right before
God.
we end, I'm gonna look at the guard who's showing me this and be like, "Yep, no, checks out."
Checks out. And we just got the origin story on Slegnir. So there we go.
Oh my God.
Called
Wow.
it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for today. That was a lot of fun. And thank everyone who viewed, watched, who will be viewing or watching. You can check us out on YouTube by Wednesday night. We usually have the VOD posted and we also have the Spotify up. Thank you all for everyone who's been watching and really enjoying what we're doing. This has been a lot of fun for us. Anything you guys want to plug or punch or have anything to say?
Thanks for watching.
Keep
Yeah,
watching.
no,
Yeah.
honestly.
Have any ideas?
Comment, like, subscribe, all of it. We want some of your ideas. We'd love to incorporate them into the game. Also, if you're ever watching on Twitch, make sure jump in the chat. Let us know you're watching. We love to respond. So
For
just
sure.
thank everyone for everything you've done. And yeah, our players were awesome today. So
Love everyone's time. Really appreciate it. We like doing this, but everyone else's interaction makes it that much better. So
100%.
please don't be shy.
Agreed.
Amen. Well, cheers, guys, and cheers to the viewers. We will see you next week, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. East on Twitch. Thank you all, and have a good night.